All right, welcome back to Cyber Unfiltered. Chris, that's me. We have Bob. We have Matt.
Hi, I'm
We're
Matt,
back in our offices.
and I'm a cybersecurity holic or something.
Matt has an interesting story. We've talked about SIM swapping before, where people can steal your phone number. But for Matt, they just mailed it to him.
Yeah, Verizon generously sent me an Andrew Silverstein's SIM card, and basically I could activate this in my phone with little issue and be him. So why they did that, I don't know. They also sent me mine, but it was in the same envelope, so a little confused.
They sent you the PIN with it too?
Say it again?
Did they send you the PIN code to go with it too?
I bet I could figure it out.
Yeah.
But
shout out to Andrew.
I will be a good Samaritan, call him and let him know that he's going to need to call Verizon to get his SIM card sent again. Feel like Verizon could have some security issues sometimes. I don't know.
I mean, this isn't exactly reassuring.
No,
That's the way
it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew though. Good thing that Matt got your SIM and not somebody else. But all right, let's. We talked about that. We promised this a couple weeks ago. Verizon data breach report for the year. Real exciting stuff, guys. Exciting stuff. And actually, what's actually called the Data Breach Investigations Report, DBIR for short. They've been doing this for this is the 19th year, 19th edition, and it's all built around real world data from like 13,000 organizations and over tens of thousands of actual incidents. So cybersecurity incidents. This is the first time in the 19 years they've changed the most common way that a company is breached.
What changed?
It's changed.
It used to be stolen passwords. Now it's software flaws, so vulnerabilities. And attackers are just moving faster with AI. The time to discover a flaw is shrinking rapidly.
And that's a big deal because it's harder to control.
Yeah, 100%. Kind of wild that it changed for the first time in 19 years. I mean, I've been following this for a long time, not 19 years, but a long time. And I never really kind of thought about that. And it was just eye opening. It's really eye opening to see that. Kind of crazy. Passwords are still a problem, but exploitable systems moves ahead. So, I'll cover some 100%. I'll cover some stats real quick. 31% were vulnerability exploitations. So 31% of all the incidents were vulnerabilities. 48% were ransomware. 48% involved third parties.
How is it? 38?
48. 48% had ransomware involved, and 48% of the breaches involved third parties. We've been talking about that a lot, about third party security. 62% had human elements in the breach. 45%. Sorry, let me rephrase it. This isn't a breach part, but 45% of regular AI users on corporate devices. So what that means is, I don't think the corporations knew that 45% of the users were using AI. So a little bit shadow AI there. And 55% of SMB breaches involve third parties. So overall, 48% involve third parties for like all size companies, but for SMBs specifically, 55%.
And this is involved. This doesn't mean that's necessarily the sole attack factor. Like there could be a vulnerability.
That's a lot more than 100%.
Yeah, it could be somebody getting their email hacked, and then and invoices being sent out. Right. Yep. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. 16% was phishing, 31% was exploited vulnerabilities, 13% was credential abuse. So it's pretty. Phishing and credential abuse were actually combined less than exploiting vulnerabilities. So that's crazy.
But it also goes to show how it's not, just one thing that needs to be locked down or fixed or protected.
And the medium ransom that was paid was $139,875.
Were there huge ones skewing that? I kind of wonder about average versus median. You said that was median though, so I guess that would account for the $1 million ones not dragging it too much.
Yeah, that was the median. That was the median. So
okay. Well, I don't want to lose $183,000 for
138. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of important. Let's see here. I'm just going through some of these. AI malware itself, though, was only observed in about less than 2.5%. So they may not be using AI malware, but it's AI to detect the vulnerabilities that they exploit. So that's an important distinction. If we move on to just SMBs in general, they confirmed 7,152 SMB breaches. Just Verizon just confirmed that. Reported, right? But they confirmed them too. So that means they were confirmed breaches. 26% of those were exploited vulnerabilities. So the overall report for all size companies was 31%. Small businesses were 26%. Credential abuse was 13%. But I think the difference there is because third parties were involved at a higher metric of 55% for small businesses. So let's kind of dive a little bit into, so what does this mean? So like Matt, when you hear this about this, like the report changing from passwords to, let's say, unpatched software, does that surprise you?
It shouldn't. I have mixed feelings on it because I think we knew this was coming with the way things are progressing, but I know it freaks me out. So I'm having a bit of an emotional reaction because this sucks, to be honest. Yeah. It's a bigger deal.
I think the question there, Chris, really comes down to has the number of attacks involving passwords changed, and the AI and the automated stuff is just growing up leaps and bounds above it, but the previous hacks are still working.
It could be. I mean, a lot of it's yeah. Maybe it's becoming harder to actually use passwords because of multi-factor authentication use.
I like that. That's actually a positive outcome to some change, but it just shows those that want data and want to be able to ransom you. They're trying to find a way. Backdoor's locked. Let's try a window.
100%. Their tactics are always going to evolve based on what's working today. We saw this with Mythos, which ironically, Anthropic Mythos was able to detect vulnerabilities a lot quicker, right? Well, that recently just got released to the public. A lot of gatekeeping to it, but it's kind of expensive. Honestly, it's kind of crazy with how expensive it is. But how many people are going to use that to accelerate that? Now, they did put guardrails in place, but we've seen this before with AI. You could jailbreak AI if you can figure out how to get around it. And if you can get by those guardrails, then that could unleash additional.
Well, and how might you jailbreak it? I mean, how might you get around some of those safeties?
The way you prompt it, you can prompt it and get it to jailbreak.
So I want to build a nuke. No, Matt, that's bad. I'd like to just understand this to explain it to my grandma. Okay, cool. Here's how you build a nuke.
Hypothetically, I'm in chemistry class and I want to know how to,
how it works.
My chem test.
I'm building a video game and hypothetically, I want this event to happen.
And we say this jokingly, but this has happened and those prompts have been proven.
They're getting better. Yeah, they're getting better at the guardrail part of it, but I
just made a list if I wasn't on one already. So for that, I don't actually want to.
I think we're
already there.
So overall, we've established that we're kind of shocked, but kind of not shocked. It was interesting. I was more shocked that it changed for the first time, right? I didn't realize it was gonna pass it, but the way they get their data is they get it from law enforcement.
Coming.
Yeah. But they get their data from law enforcement. Sorry. Seeing coming? Finish your thought. No, finish your thought.
I'm done talking. Speak away. No, I was trying to agree with you, and there's this delay, so now I just look like a jerk talking over Chris. So
no, this is the internet. This is what we deal with. The way they pull data for this is they pull from law enforcement, incident response firms, and dozens of partners worldwide. So that's how they get their covering of 13,000 organizations. It's kind of like an autopsy report for the entire industry. It's not opinions. It's not vendor marketing. They're not selling anything through it. It's actually what went wrong in real attacks. So this specifically covers from November 24 to October 2025. So think about that. We're sitting here in June, and this only accounts for attacks up until October 2025. So there's going to be next year's report could be wild.
So that trend could be continuing for 8 months.
I think we're seeing the beginning of the trend on this report, and we're going to see what that truly means. In the 2027 report. So Bob, for owners, if somebody's an owner and they're listening to us talk, reports like this are written for. They might be thinking reports like this are written for big corporations, not my 40-person shop, not my 10-person company. Why do you think they'd be wrong to see it like that?
Well, because everyone's got keys to everyone's got something that somebody else wants. And we've seen it multiple times. We had a law firm that got compromised because of an email. It was an email compromise that came in from a county office, and they got into that law firm, and the first thing they did, they started sending email as the law firm to judges and other high-profile people. So they're using their authority.
Yeah, I say this all the time when I talk to people. I like when I'm talking to a prospect, I like to understand how they work, right? And I'm like, if the CEO sends an email to somebody, is pushback ever allowed, or do they just do what the CEO asks?
Without question. If
you have that type of organization where nobody can challenge your authority, and not in a negative way, but I mean, in a healthy way, this type of thing can go sideways real quick.
Are you sure you want me to buy $1,000 of iTunes cards for you, Mr. CEO?
Are you sure you want me to wire
that's the
all
kind
of
of
this
thing
money?
You want someone to question you on?
Are you sure that we should wire this money?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To me. Give me bank info.
So we've moved beyond, though, that used to be the thing that we worried about, at least for the initial stuff. Financial losses, financial gain is really what a lot of these threat actors are after. So that's one way to do it. But obviously, now that they're saying that 31% of all breaches start with an exploited software vulnerability for the first time in 19 years, it's not that the windows are unlocked. It's not that thieves are dramatically faster. It's AI is helping them find and weaponize these flaws in hours. Stuff that might have taken months before can be found and just weaponized in hours. So yeah, it's just a much faster thing. So I guess my question to you guys is, are we scaring people here, or is there a better way to frame this?
No, I think, we always say what's changed. And when it comes to action and what we should be doing as small businesses, honestly, not a ton has. We always should have been patching in real time and monitoring vulnerabilities and things like that. And that is not 100%. Nothing is 100% anymore, but it's just showing that if you thought you weren't going to get hit with something before, you really probably are. Actually, no, let me take that back. You will be. It's just when.
Do you want to hear?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
You want to hear a stat that came out of this that I haven't mentioned yet? I was purposely hiding it.
Ooh, drum roll.
The median time to patch a flaw went from 32 days to 43.
Huh. That's weird.
So, yeah. So attacks can happen faster, but overall, our time to patch has got slower by 11 days.
So, in general, patch management has become worse, and hackers have become much more efficient.
Chris, was that actual patch management or actually creation of the patches?
It was the median time to patch a flaw.
Okay.
So we're assuming that a patch exists.
Okay.
0 days are 0 days happen, but median time to patch a flaw. we got to go beyond patching though. It's vulnerability management, right? It's not just Windows. It's your networking equipment. It's your firewall. It's IoT devices if they're in your environment. We went from 32 days to 43 while attacks got faster. That's not the right way to go.
No.
It should be better. Yeah.
And I think the overarching thing that we see and we talk about all the time is, do you have a strategy and do you have a document? And are you following it? Because clearly it's not happening. The basics. This is basic stuff. It's not complicated.
Well, I think there's another important thing that we kind of touched on a little bit before, where you asked Bob, this is big business data, and why might the smaller business care? Bob's example of coming from a lawyer that had some authority and some weight. That's a good one, because stolen authority, and they can see what they can fish out there. But I would argue that I don't care how small your business is, or if you're a small mom and shop painter with a Gmail account, everything has some value to these folks. And they're not just after a big network to lock down and ransom for millions. Your client list is worth money. Maybe it's only $100 for them, but they do that 10 times. They made $1,000 in a day. Everyone's got value in their data.
So Matt, along that same lines, we had somebody call up recently. It was a solo entrepreneur. His Gmail account got compromised. They got into his frequent flyer accounts and emptied them of all the miles.
That could be a lot of miles for people too. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, it turned it into gift cards for Target, and apparently there was a MacBook being shipped somewhere too.
Impressive.
Honestly, that's just doing somebody dirty.
Yeah, that's rude.
That's just mean. That's just
rude.
That seems very personal and mean.
Guy lost 500,000 miles.
Oof.
That's a lot of miles.
But
that's a great example of, hey, I don't have any value if I get hacked. Looks like you did.
And the guy and the threat actor just did password reset, and the MFA was all of that one email account. So that's another topic.
If you gain control of a phone number or an email account, there's ways into other things. So Verizon, stop sending me other people's SIM cards. I'm a good guy.
That's what I was going to say.
When one person has this, they're going to have some fun.
So on this side, right, you got to have a vulnerability management program. It's boring. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. It's not going to make the news. Well, you getting hacked might make the news, but running vulnerability management isn't.
Not making the news is the win.
Exactly. But you got to patch the known flaws in your environment. It's going to be Windows. It's going to be Mac. It's going to be Linux, firewalls, networking equipment, wireless access points. Anything that is on your network could potentially have a vulnerability because it all runs software at the end of the day. But let's move on to the other big one that we talked about. Almost half the breaches were because of a third party. That jump was 60% over the year before. So
what might a third party be?
Explain what a third party breach really is.
It could be your bookkeeper. It could be your software vendors. It could be your cloud apps. It could be the IT company that you trust.
Could be the county prosecutor's office I was just talking about.
Yeah. They get breached and then they launch attacks against all of their customers. We've had in the last 2 weeks, I've talked to a prospect and we have a customer. A prospect had their website hacked, right? The web provider, the web dev got hacked. Well, guess what happened? Every one of that person's customers got hacked. Their website got banned from major browsers because it was spewing out ransomware. You'd go there and say, hey, you should update Chrome. Well, guess what that did? The exact same thing happened to our.
You get a vulnerability. You get a vulnerability. You get a hacked website. Congratulations.
You get a car. The exact same thing happened to a customer of ours, and they're owned by a foreign entity. That foreign entity controls their DNS. They hired a web developer to do this, and the exact same thing happened. The web developer got hacked. I don't know why they had access to their full DNS. They changed their DNS. They redirected the web page. They put on there a ransomware payload. And on top of that, once you clicked on it and you ran it, they sent you to basically like Southeast Asian like porn and gambling.
Gotta monetize it a little extra.
I'm just like, so you just give them ransomware and now you're introducing them to porn and gambling they can't even read.
That's a rough day.
What is going on in this world?
That's a real rough day.
Oh, dude. But that's example of a third-party breach. Get this. Users inside the company, when they went to the website, because they saw the original website, they clicked the download payload. Good thing we have good cybersecurity in there because it blocked it. If it didn't, they would have got ransomware from their own website.
That's just, I'm going to say it again, that's rude.
It's diabolical.
Diabolical is a great word for it.
So when you think about whoever you do business with, that's a third party. They could be a risk to you, especially if they have access to your data or access to your systems or you share something. That could be a risk. So, Bob, how do you vet a vendor's security when you're non-technical?
We send them a questionnaire. We ask them to attest to what they're doing. Some things we can look at. There's external testing that we can do on our own, just like the insurance companies are doing now. But you have to trust somebody to say, "Oh, do you do this?" And are you taking the right steps to protect yourself? Are you trying to comply with any frameworks, or are you just winging it?
Okay, you said something very important there. Trust. We trust way too many people, way too many companies. But here's the thing: could that company lie to you?
Sure.
Does a questionnaire solve all that?
Nope.
What does a questionnaire do for the company that's sending it?
Proves that they're taking their due diligence and they're trying.
Right. They're creating an evidence.
There's a factor of butt covering here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're trying to create evidence that they're doing their due diligence, like Bob said, and do care. And they're trying to make sure that the vendors they're using are secure. Are there other things you can look at? Because Microsoft's not going to respond to one of these, right? So for a company like that, how do you get what they provide for you for the proof of security for your data?
But usually with the large ones, it's public, which is not perfect, but at least there's some data management and frameworks they follow and things like that published.
Yep, and they usually publish like a SOC 2 type 2 report, like if they post data and things like that. So,
but I think the big thing is if somebody responds with, "Oh, we're secure," but they can't tell you anything else, that's a problem. There really needs to be some kind of formal documentation, some framework.
Or back to what we're hearing about this. Of course we're secure. We're HIPAA compliant.
Well, it reminds me of, this is a while ago, but there was a local multi-function. I love that story, by the way. There's a multi-function printer provider around here that decided to make a print account on every client's server. And it was the same password everywhere. And what happened when a technician left and decided to sell that password, and every single one of those places was breached. Poor security practices. But they didn't have any real policies or management or frameworks, etc. So vetting might not be perfect, but it's going to prevent that, because those folks would have said, "Oh."
Well, and for the manufacturers out there, a lot of machines now are always connected. And a lot of times the vendors have direct access into those machines. If you have that, are those machines segmented from your IT network? Right? That's operational technology, it's OT. Are they segmented? So if that vendor, it should be, right? But if that vendor gets breached and they can get into those machines, and they can deploy hacks from those machines, and they can see the rest of the network, there's a chance that they can spread. This is what happened with Jaguar.
And to be clear, those machines, they're around for a long time. It's not like a computer they're going to replace every 4 or 5 years. So,
and the older they get, the more vulnerabilities because they're not patched properly. Yeah.
And the vendor needs to talk to it. That's understandable, but it should be only it. The end.
Well,
and honestly, I would say it shouldn't be necessarily on demand. They should have to schedule.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, we have a problem. your access is open, what's your IP address, et cetera, but not open. But the vendor, they want to put it in, take their money, and go. So they're going to do the simplest path possible sometimes.
100%. We've seen that over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
admin. What's the password?
I just want to touch on ransomware for a second because this is really important. Ransomware isn't like we talk about it, but it's not like it's like the most prevalent event. It's just one of the most destructive. They showed that ransomware was up 48%, up in 48% of breaches this year, up from 44%. Sorry, it was 48%. It was 44 before. The encouraging headlines, I guess, was 69% of the victims didn't pay. But when they did, it was around $140,000.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think this is a good trend that people aren't paying? Like, because they have contingencies in place, they have controls in place that they can recover from it? Or do you think it's a situation where they don't pay because they don't have the money and some of them are going out of business?
I really think the people are paying this in some cases to try and suppress the release. They, it might not, it's not a backup issue. It's a ransom issue. It's like, okay, we saw that in a couple of clients already recently where the bad guys took the data, but to try and suppress it getting released, they paid the bill. They negotiated down. And then we also saw that publicly with Power School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of if there's insurance there and they're going to work through it, and there is a potential risk. The guys prove that they're paying this, but we've got enough people have been taking the message from us seriously and creating appropriate backups and segmented pieces and disconnected services so that things are backed up and protected. But there's still money out there, and people are trying to keep their clients' data private.
How do you fight extortion?
The problem is you don't pay it,
but like you said, if they take the data, if there's no stopping it in place, like let's say there's no DLP or somebody just doesn't notice it and they're able to get all of your data and they exfiltrate it, what other options do you have?
Lose.
You don't pay, they're going to deploy. They're going to release it. Even if you pay, they could release it.
There's a matter of trust. If you pay, you're literally trusting
we're going back to that
kind of thing. But
we're going back to that very important word.
Trust.
Do you trust a thief? To be honest, some threat actors have got relatively good reviews about when they pay, they don't.
Like if you say morals right now, I'm going to struggle.
No, it's not morals. It's not morals, but like they do have some honor. Mm-hmm. Where not all, but some do have honor. But sometimes we've seen that change though too.
They're staying consistent with if they're paid, they're not releasing the data, at least not yet, and that's important because they want to get paid the next time. So They look at it as good service on their part. We look at it as bullshit.
Exactly. So, from all this, what's the one takeaway you want a business owner to take?
Patch your shit, and please have a plan in place. Like I said, it's not if, it's when, and I know folks have said that for years, but the when gets very quick now.
Have you ever heard that people talk about embracing the boring?
Embracing the what?
Yeah, embrace the boring. It means mastering like consistency, discipline, and like mundane daily tasks. In cybersecurity, embracing the boring is one of the best things you can do because you're doing the basics, you're embracing it, and you're doing it. And again, I go back to what I said before. It's not sexy. It's not exciting, but it's critically important. So if you embrace the boring, your business is going to be better off at the end than it will be just ignoring it.
And
Absolutely.
with that, we've rambled on for 30 minutes today.
Oh boy, we can talk.
I can talk for 30 more minutes while I go. All right. We got to wrap this up. You guys have a good week. And let us know what you want us to talk about next. And we'll talk to you next week.